So welcome in everyone to another FIFA 23 Tactics video. I'm Ash as always, and today we are going to talk about Jose Mourinho's Real Madrid system. Welcome along to the channel. If you're new here, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to get notifications every time I upload. On this channel, I show you guys, amongst many other things, how to replicate real systems. And with Jose Mourinho's 4-2-3-1 system that we do have with Real Madrid, something that we covered back in FIFA 20, so a few years ago now. A few tweaks since then, gameplay has changed, all that sort of thing. So I think you guys will really get something out of this video today. If you want to see how this tactic ranks and rates compared to all of the other systems that we do cover, make sure to check out my Patreon because you can get access to my FIFA 23 custom tactics package with rankings, ratings, suitable teams to play as, strengths and weaknesses of every team we cover on the channel, as well as exclusive tactics videos like Bayer Leverkusen, Xabi Alonso, like Will Steele Stade Rem, like Ange Postecoglou Celtic, Vieira's Palace, all sorts of teams that I think you guys will really enjoy as well. With that being said, let's get into the system. Now, with the classic tactics, it is of course more of a challenge to get footage. I can't use the regular kind of scouting apps and all that sort of thing. Have to only really use kind of highlights and footage. So as a result, despite what you usually expect with a Mourinho system, very pragmatic, different game plans for different opponents. Obviously, it's been more of a challenge to kind of get that kind of information. So as a result, we've just got a balanced game plan for this and really tried to hone the principles as much as I possibly could. With regards to the formation itself, obviously it's a 4-2-3-1, just one position change. You want to go with the 4-2-3-1 wide, but then what you want to do is you want to rotate this position here from left midfield to left winger. We've got Vinicius Jr. here, but obviously this would have been one Cristiano Ronaldo. And what you'll notice with him is obviously he's getting further forward, he's getting closer to the striker, really acting as not quite a hybrid winger slash false winger, but not far off. And so in an attempt to try and replicate that role more effectively, we've ended up boosting him to left winger compared to the other one, which would have been Di Maria on this side, who is still the right midfielder. And that's very important because it naturally gets him a little bit deeper, which is what you're looking for. And then with the counter-attack, obviously, you can spring that from deeper positions. But there's no other position changes other than that. So let's talk about the tactics. So what do we have from the tactical setup then? Well, first things first, defensive style. You've actually got pressure on heavy touch. A bit more of a rarity for a Mourinho system across all of his teams, but something that's more of a, I guess, Real Madrid kind of requirement than anything, sort of a bit more of an active press and shape. With that, you've got a kind of system where when they do lose possession, they'll quickly try to regain their shape, which is very important principle of a Jose Mourinho system. But there were times, obviously, they are still looking to kind of impose themselves on the opposition, press, get a little bit further forward to try and win the ball back, and that's why pressure on heavy touch really gives you the best balance for that. Width is on 10, very narrow and compact, making sure that you've got to force the opposition out wide in order to create really any real attacking moves. And then the depth is on 60, obviously giving you a mid block, something that probably would have been a little bit lower in other sides. But in his Real Madrid side, they're kind of pushed up a little bit further. But he was still generally a mid-block. I've never really seen them kind of have too high of a line in any of the kind of footage that I did analyse. So we've got that with 60. Now, offensively, we've got something a little bit different here. The build-up play is on fast build-up and the chance creation is on forward runs, giving you that extreme counter-attacking system. Players are going to get forward at pace, quick, ultra-quick transitions, in fact. And as a result, you're really going to have this kind of counter-attacking system that's going to be just kind of deadly with those kind of attacking transitions. It's important to note that with the instructions that we will have in place, we will prevent it being an issue where, as you can see here, you can find yourself open to a counter-attack. The instructions that we do have are going to kind of alleviate any concerns that you might have there. The width is on 70, stretching out to be a nice wide system. And that's something that was very important within this kind of shape because of the fact that they have these kind of pace, lots of movement. And as a result, they really try to exploit those wide areas because that's where you're really going to find the most joy when you are hitting teams on the counter-attack. And not just in FIFA, but obviously Real Madrid do this a lot. Players in the box is up to 7. Really, you're only hoping for around about 4 players getting into the box. So as a result, it's important that we don't go too high with this. And then corners and free kicks, both of these are on 4. Let's talk about the player instructions then. We'll start off with Courtois in goal, which would of course been Casillas back in the day. We got him on comes for crosses, but then his saving outside the box is only on balance. Not really a hallmark of a Casillas, and definitely not a hallmark of a Mourinho system to have a sweeper keeper. So we've got that on balance. Comes to crosses, he's definitely going to aid you though in those crossing situations. With the two centre backs, absolutely fine. No need to change anything. If you do want to kind of alter it for personal reasons, in this case we of course would have had Sergio Ramos. You can then naturally change interceptions to aggressive, as we know how he kind of plays and played. But if not, you prefer to kind of keep it regular, then you can keep both of these on normal. Now with the two fullbacks, a little bit different here. You'll notice that one of them, which in this case is Carvajal, he's on join the attack and overlap. Mendy, as the left back, is on stay back whilst attacking and inverted. A principle throughout all of Mourinho's systems pretty much is when one fullback attacks, joins the attack, the other one stays back. Now on FIFA, as we've spoken about in many videos before, you can't get the rotation between them, unfortunately. If you set them both on balance, generally a lot of the time, they will both get forward, which is a little bit frustrating for sure. So as a result, you have to permanently set one on stay back and the other one on get forward. I picked the right back here because in this case with the left back, you've got a left winger in front. So you probably want to provide a little bit more protection for that left winger with that Ronaldo role. And also you'll notice with the defensive midfielders that we'll talk about very shortly, one of these is an aggressive midfielder, like more of a defensive, out and out defensive midfielder, which will be Tchouaméni. So he will again kind of offer some more protection for Carvajal on that side, who will naturally overlap more. So that's just a little bit of a balancing act that we have to do there. Onto the defensive midfielders then, starting off with Tchouaméni playing that kind of Sami Khedira role. His defensive behaviour is man mark, and that's obviously another kind of principle of a Mourinho system, is that they do like to man up and really stick to their opponents as much as physically possible. Attacking support is stay back whilst attacking, and you'll notice this with the other defensive midfielder as well, which we'll come on to shortly. And interceptions is aggressive interceptions, and what this is going to do is going to help to replicate that ball-winning midfielder more. He is definitely going to try and impose himself, something that Mourinho likes from his kind of holding midfielders. He likes those big-bodied, aggressive midfielders, and that's really something that Sami Khedira was, kind of matched that kind of archetype that he was looking for. Finally, the defensive position is cover centre. Important that these guys don't get dragged out too much. The only time they will is when you manually need to do it, because a little bit of space down that right hand side that might have been vacated by that right back. But other than that, keep them on the centre. Now with Kroos, who is playing that kind of Xabi Alonso role, you've got someone who is more of a ball progressor, less of the regular archetype that you'd expect from that kind of Mourinho holding midfielder. He's still on man mark and he's still on stay back whilst attacking, and also on cover centre. The only change you've got here that we didn't have back on FIFA 20 when we covered the system is this time you got his positioning freedom on deep lying playmaker, and that's going to be really helpful to kind of play out the ball from the back, because you're going to drop into more pockets of space and you're just going to find a little bit more movement from him. So next we'll move on to the real meat of this system then, the front four. These are the ones who really kind of set this, I guess, system apart. This team, despite all of his criticisms, this was an ultra scoring team, and this is pretty much down to this front four and the kind of freedom and movement that they were given and provided. So starting off with Valverde playing more of that Di Maria role, we've got him on comeback on defence naturally to make sure that he's tracking back, and then chance creation and support runs is cut inside and getting behind. Getting behind, very self-explanatory, to make sure that he's penetrating that back line on those counter-attacks. Cut inside gets him a little bit closer to the striker and also in more goal-scoring opportunities. It also means that his movement, and such as that freedom of movement that we spoke about, when he's angling his runs, he kind of peels off from the fullback, which would have been the opposition left back. And in that case, that's how you really kind of get him into some space. Finally, support on crosses is getting to the box with a cross. Now with Ronaldo on the other side, exactly the same, no need to change anything. Obviously the only difference is that in this case he is of course a left winger, so just something you might want to bear in mind. With Modric playing that kind of Mesut Ozil role in this case, he's also on comeback on defence, and his support on crosses is getting to the box with a cross. The only real kind of significant thing you need to note here is that his positioning freedom is on drift wide. Again, talking about that freedom of movement, being able to drag players out wide, or really get your players into space. And this is just absolutely key for this kind of counter-attacking system, because really you've just got this interchanging movement between all three of the attackers in the midfield areas, the left winger, the right winger, and the cam as well. So you got him on drift wide, and it will kind of peel off into more of those half spaces as well. Finally, with Karim Benzema up front playing the, well, Karim Benzema role. His support runs are also on drift wide. Again, similar reasons that we've just spoken about with that variety of movement and peeling off from kind of the centre back as well, just getting into those half channels. And then attacking runs is, again, naturally on getting behind. You don't need me to go through that one anymore. Finally, his defensive support is stay forward. He will act as that out ball going forward. And he looks to really hold at the ball as much as possible to get those attackers, the front three kind of behind him, really playing and running off him as well. And so that rounds it off for this system then. If you've got any questions about the tactic, don't hesitate to get at me in the comment section down below, and I will do my best to get back to you. A very, very fun one to kind of cover, and really an outline more than anything of a Mourinho system. Some unfair kind of stereotypes of Mourinho and kind of preconceptions really broken with this system, where, you know, they were breaking kind of point scoring and goal scoring records all over the shop. So this was just kind of a really, really fun team to go back and watch. If you want to get access to my FIFA 23 custom tactics package to see how this one ranks and rates compared to all of the other systems that we have covered on the channel, make sure to get at me on my Patreon down below. You can support me on there. A great way to support the channel, and a huge, huge thank you to all of my patrons who have decided to support me and just kind of keep this channel going and allow me to really do this much content and really justify this much content. So thank you very much for that, as well as, you know, you can get exclusive tactics videos, behind the scenes access, early access to videos, and a whole lot more as well. Give me a follow on Twitter. The link to that is in the description down below. And with that being said, we're going to round it off there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.